Hi everybody, my name is Will Thompson. I'm one of the program managers on the Power BI desktop team. And I wanted to talk through how Ariba could be using Power BI to analyze all that data they're capturing through their Power Apps and through various other places to help try and find some insights in that data and take some action on that to help improve the processes. So I'm going to start off playing the role of a regional or district manager who looks after a bunch of depots around London. And this is a typical sort of dashboard that I might come to every day. It's got all the information that I need to right in my fingertips to help me do my job day in, day out. So everything from the repairs that are going on to the technicians who are working, their hourly schedules, whatever it might be. And this can be a typical sort of landing page, and I get very quickly, I can see some of the issues that might be going on. So for example, the Tottenham Depot here has got a really high number of repairs compared to some of the others. And clicking on any of these will take me through to underlying details, more detailed information or reports, in this case that maybe somebody else has created for me. This is a really good example of a report that somebody like Keith has created and published and shared with other folks around his organization. So I can see here, yep, there's a problem here over in the Tottenham Depot, and as I hover over these, I get this nice little tooltip showing me some more information about exactly the number of repairs at each of those spots. But because this is a Power BI report, everything is linked together. So whenever I click on something, it's going to cross-highlight and filter all of the other charts in my report. So I can see that if I focus just on Tottenham, the average repair time and the number of repairs hasn't really changed that much. But actually, I can see that over time here, we had this big spike in July and August. And in those months, the average repair time was really, really low. So we've got lots of technicians running out and fixing buses all over the place, but it doesn't take very long to do those repairs. But it's probably really inefficient if they're spending all their time traveling. So let's dig in to try and find out, well, what's caused that increase in those 2 months? Now, Arun mentioned that we're building AI right into Power BI, so it's really simple for somebody to right-click on one of these charts and say, go and explain the increase. Why did that go up over those 2 months? Now, I could have gone and clicked and dragged and built my own charts and sliced and diced to try and find this, but Power BI is now really helping augment the human process of data analysis to help people look in the right places to find those answers. And in this case, I can see that there was a big increase in the number of coolant repairs in that month. That was the thing that had the biggest impact in the change. Brakes and doors had a smaller impact, and there are actually some that decreased from month to month. But coolant's probably one that we want to look at in a little bit more detail. So I can see that coolant was a problem. It doesn't look like there's any particular chassis that was causing an issue. But maybe what I want to look at is, for those coolant repairs, how did that change over time? Now, it looks like this report doesn't actually show me that out of the box. The person who built the report for me didn't put that in. But they have given me an option to go and ask natural language questions so I can explore the data myself. So they've given me some suggestions of questions that I might want to ask, things that can help me understand what sort of questions this model can answer. So what was the average repair time by the model of bus, or how many repairs were there each month? And I can go and customize these if I want to. So I can go and say, well, specifically for coolant, and it will get filtered down. So I can just use natural language to go and change and ask these questions. So I can see there was a big spike in August. So we're confirming over that time period, yep, coolant were the ones the repairs that were going up, and there was clearly a problem there. It's not just this numerical data that Q&A can help answer, though. Obviously, things like how much or what was the average, Q&A can do a great job of answering those, and we'll get some nice charts and graphs back. But I can ask anything that's available to me in this data set. So if I wanted to know, who is the depot manager there? Who is the depot manager? I can't talk and type at the same time. It'll give me some textual information as well. So the depot manager for Tottenham's this guy, Sam Adib. Now, maybe I want to go and find out, try and dig into this a bit more and find out what's causing these issues with the coolant. I could call Sam and say, can you go and look into this? And actually, I'm going to go and play the part of Sam now, take off my regional manager hat and go go into Sam's role. Now, Sam is a really good example of somebody who, like Keith, can just get their hands dirty with in this case, the data that they're looking at. And to do that, they're likely to use Power BI Desktop. So I've got the same report open here in Power BI Desktop, and I can start doing some more analysis with that. And in this case, I'm going to go and get some data to help me understand this information about the coolant repairs in these 2 months. Now, being coolant in August, probably there's some impact about the weather here. So I went out and looked around on the internet, and we found some good climate data about the weather in London. and the average temperatures over these months. So I'm going to hit Get Data and try and pull that data here into Power BI Desktop. So you can see the whole range of connectors that Power BI can give us access to, everything from database platforms to file systems, and even anything like third-party applications or even Dynamics. And actually, Power BI Desktop does a really good job of just connecting to web pages. So I can just stick in the URL of that page that I found. And it's now going to go and pull down that web page. I can see a little preview of it here. And I could either go and look through the HTML in that web page and try and pick out the different tables in there. Or I can actually just say, I'm going to give you some examples of the bits of information I want you to pull out of that web page. And Power BI will work out what transformations it needs to apply to get the data into that format. So if I scroll down through here, we can find that little chart. And all I'm going to do is say, OK, this first column is going to be my month. And I'm just going to tell it some examples. So I'm going to start off with January. And you see as I start typing, it's giving me suggestions of all of the different bits of data it's found on the page. So I'll start off with Jan, and then Feb. And after I've given it a couple of examples, you'll see it's filled in the rest. So it's figured out, OK, there's the data here, January, February, March, and it's pulled all those down. So let's do the same thing for the temperatures. So we'll start off with the minimum. So 37 degrees. This is Fahrenheit, not Celsius, for those of you who are wondering. The minimum temperature in January in London is not 37 degrees Celsius. But it's automatically picked up the rest of them. It's figured out what I was asking for and figured the transformations out as well. So my maximum I can do here as well. Just give it one example, and it's going to go and pull all those in. This is a really, really simple way to go and scrape web pages. And the best thing about this is it's totally reusable. When I hit refresh on this, it's just going to go and apply the same operations. So if the data in the web page has changed, I'll get all that new data in as well. Really, really simple way to go and pull all that data down. Now, rather than finishing this off and waiting for this to finish downloading, I've already done this. Here's one I made earlier. I've got the 2018 weather data here with the same average, max, and min. Now, I can add that to my report. And by default, I might just get this on a page like this. I've just shown you the punchline, where I've got a fairly boring table of data. There's some nicer ways that I can visualize this average, min, maximum, and the number of repairs on those days. And one of the things that we've built recently is something called Charticulator. Now, this started off as a Microsoft research project. And the guys over at Research build these fantastic tools. In this case, they have built a fully customizable tool for building these fantastic, rich, custom visualizations. And the great thing about this is that you can export these as Power BI custom visuals. So I found an example on their site with Boston weather. So they built it using the Boston weather data set. And like I said, you can get these fantastic, really gorgeous charts, download them as a custom visual, and then load that into Power BI Desktop. So I've already done that. So let's take that same data, turn it into this other custom visual. And now I'm mapping exactly that same London weather data and my repair data into this custom visual that was built on a different data set. And you can see it's already filled in my minimum, maximum, etc. Temperatures and plotted this here on my graph. So I can see that the last few months of the year, sort of July and August, were really, really hot. And in fact, in London, we had some of the some record-breaking temperatures over the summer this year. Now, if I want to focus on a particular time range, let's rather than look at the last 4 months, I just filter it down to the last 4 months. I can see that my coolant repairs here were actually the number on category of repairs. And if I focus just on those, you can see there's actually just a couple of days towards the end of that hot period where those coolant repairs all happened. So I've really been able to narrow down this insight. There's definitely some correlation here, as you'd expect, I guess. Hot weather, buses get hot, they need more coolant. But what can I do about that? Well, me sitting here analyzing this data is one thing, but I actually want to take some action and go and be a bit more proactive about maintaining those buses and making sure that the coolant's there for them. And I can do that using Power Apps. Power Apps has a custom visual as well that allows me to drop this onto my report, and I can embed a Power App right here. So I'm going to take my, my defect category and my chassis and add that into the visual too, to kind of bind the data into this visual. And now it's going to go and let me choose the Power App environment to connect to, hopefully. Yep. And choose my Ariva one. And we've got a maintenance request app here that we've built to embed right here in the report. So now I've got Power Apps sitting right alongside all that analytic data as well. And again, if I choose my coolants, you'll see that gets passed through as context to that Power App. So I can link the data together and link the selections that I make in the report together too. And I can say, when this bus comes in for its weekly scheduled maintenance, I'm going to change it over and say every week during that hot weather period, I want to make sure this bus is getting coolant ready to go. So that's a really quick tour how we can use Power BI to monitor and track all of that data from a variety of places in that dashboard, how I can use it to augment the process of analyzing that data and finding insights, and then take some action based on that using Power Apps embedded right here in this Power BI report. Thanks very much, and I'll hand back to Arun.